Hello, my name is Sheldon and welcome back for another episode of Ep33 as Iran. In previous episode we finally got the car industry going, which we currently, well, we do need quite a bit. It's mostly, actually, buy orders is largely just pop consumption, which admittedly is better consumption for them than the transportation, which of course is a local product in a way, so you can produce it elsewhere and then everyone can still, well, most of the people can still probably get access to it. Which is kind of handy in that regard. We do have quite a bit of places which have a massive shortage of transportation. There's also some places that actually have a bit of extra. Like, actually, down here, for example, we do have a few extras. Do we have a lot of workforce? No, we don't, really. So we could put, let's say, the rail transportation in here. That's going to require a decent bit of transportation. It's going to reduce the amount of laborers needed, which means that the production over there will be increasing. Now, we are losing a lot of money right now, but that's partially by design. We have very low taxes. We can just increase that by a level and then we'll be fine again. But we can let the population gain more of their money or retain more of their money for the time being. Also, I was just having a look at the population and the spending almost 21% of their money on clothing. Now, luckily, once we get the electrical capacitors, that's going to eventually start increasing the clothing availability a lot. But I suppose, what was the second one? Grain is still pretty high in there. So I suppose how we're looking on groceries by this point. It's not too bad. We probably could still increase the production of that. Ooh, public address goes awry on the private health insurance. We'll take the money at 15 cents. It might not pass, but it's not the end of the world. And our GDP has taken a bit of a downturn there briefly. I suppose we're building a lot of engines and now a whole lot of oil rigs as well, which I believe will get us to 25 total in Baku, which is already going to be a massive in production there. The population in there is increasing very rapidly. There's a huge amount of migration heading in there. Of course, we are having the greener grasses campaign in there, so that definitely helps. They got a decent standard of living of 15.1, which is a bit below the national average, but it's not too far off. Nope, and we just did a whole lot of the construction. So I think what we will do, let's have a look at the food industries again. I'm really looking at amount of peasants. Uzbekia could be okay. Let's actually sort by that. Oh, right. Oh, we can build in Tibet. You know what? I'm going to build one in Tibet because that's going to probably ease their problems. And then maybe we'll build one in Uzbekia. There we go, so that's a bit more productions. And we're still losing a bit of money, but it's not too bad. I suppose we don't really have that much... We'll discover in Mazandaran. Sure, we'll get more migration in there. Then I'm hoping that we can attract more and more people from abroad, because our own population growth, well, it is a decent. It's not really enough. Ooh. There's a bit of a Punjab fighting against British East Indies. Don't think I'm going to need it there. And then North India, there's a civil war in there for someone. That's not really my business either. I'm now getting a lot of motor engines built, which should then reduce the engine price a little bit, which is currently pretty high. We definitely want to reduce that a little bit. We are also having a slight issue with authority. Not really that massive. I suppose what we could do is we can increase the government wages, and then maybe it would be soon time to switch to a higher taxation level or something. But that way we don't have quite as much... Oh, what's this then? Oh, France versus Japan. Okay, well, you do you. Did they... They did conquer an island previously. Yeah, Kyushu was conquered by France. Alright, then so they're forging their empire in the Pacific. They did also manage to get the state over here from British Raj previously, or maybe it was from Britain directly, but regardless, they did gain some land there. Is Trucial States independent? No, it's still part of British market, so that's not really an option then. They are hostile. Oh, we got two relations with Britain, so we can't declare. Well, I suppose that makes sense. We're now down to 6 states with problems with standard of living, which is still a bit too much, mind you. I suppose the issues are reducing. We do have a bit of convoys, but I reckon there's probably not going to be a lot of nations selling rubber right now. Nope. There really isn't. And I don't think we have any more diplomatic interested issue either. And actually, we could get one. Question is, where should we put that? Where would there be rubber available, I guess? I mean, I guess Senegal or Niger might be. Brazil could also be an option. Put it down that way. I don't know if they do actually have any productions in here, but I suspect that they might have. They could have. I don't know if they do. But we'll give it a go. Then we can maybe start importing some from there. It may not be enough. I'm sure that that's going to be better than nothing. Oh, wow. There's a lot of textile mills being built suddenly. Also some opium plantations still. So that's increasing. We're getting some rye farms built in. Oh, does Indos break ranks? Well, may devil take them then. We've now got 1% chance of passing the law. We'll probably get a setback and then we might be able to continue on. We've got 15.6 standard of living now, so that's definitely been increasing. We're over 70% literacy rate, which is still not good enough, mind you. We might go ahead and build another... Oh, right, yeah, the capital is having huge issues with workforce. Now, I don't think there's much that I can do to reduce the labor usage on most of these. The coal mines, no, nothing there. Logging camps, we've got everything already maxed out there. Plantations, well, I suppose, do we have transportation available? Well, I mean, I suppose, technically speaking, we kind of do. What is the... Well, not really that much. I'm not sure for that one. Maybe the... Okay, the silk plantation already has that. What about tobacco plantation? That's already got the transportation as well. Okay, so we're a little bit limited on the options. I think we may need to indeed go just for the rail transportation for the opium plantation. It might reduce the profitability, but that should free up a decent chunk of workforce to just immediately go to work elsewhere to make sure that the productions stay relatively good. And what's this then? Oh, barley, okay. Barley is going to get conquered most likely. Petition to the government to pass monarchy. No. We went for the presidential republic already. We're not going to switch back. But since we don't have elections as such, it doesn't really make much of a difference in the end. Right, well, I suppose at this point... where do we have the biggest problems? So engines are still a massive issue. We're getting a whole lot of engines, or the motor... what's the word that I'm looking for? Automobiles. Cars being built, but that's requiring a lot of rubber, which we can't really provide easily. But we might be able to now buy some. Oh, from Colombian market. Okay, that's not a huge amount. And it won't really drop the price, but I'll take it. I will definitely take it. Tigre is having revolts. That's none of our business. Little agent failures. Okay. We'll get back to 8%. Okay, that's not really going to be enough. So I don't think this law will pass at all. We're getting a bit of railways built there. So right now we're starting to have a bit of issues where there's just not enough workforce really available for us. So let's have a look at the building side of things. Is there still things that we could do to reduce the workforce need in places? Arms industries, yeah. It might not be profitable everywhere, but we're going to do these anyway. To get the reductions going. Then wheat farms, we can start using that. Livestock ranches, if they got electricity available, we're going to switch to that. Vineyards, we can use rail transportation, I suppose. Coal mines use rail transportation. That might require a whole lot more transportation, which is not necessarily great, but I think that might be saving us a decent bit of workforce. Although it might also increase the radical numbers a decent chunk briefly. Oh, automated bottle blowers. Okay, that's actually going to be really useful for us. If we go for the class works, we've got a lot of them. That's going to reduce 2,500 laborers per building. That's going to be potentially massive amounts of extra labor available. Of course, it requires a lot of resources to do so. That's a lot of tools and oil, which oil we probably do still produce okay. Oh, mechanized farming spreading. That's actually going to be another good thing that's going to increase the... Let's actually have a look at the... For example, the wheat farm over here. How much does that do? So that's the tractors. So that reduces the labor usage another 500 per level. That's going to replace the tool consumption with an engine consumption. That's fine. Opposition members put forth demands. Sure. We'll get back to 23%. Oh, so not actually contracting too much right now ourselves. I'm guessing we might have still places with a very high cost of local things like transportation. Let's actually get another railway in Mazandaran. There's a bit of population available, actually. I suppose we did just free up a whole lot of workforce to many places, which then means that those places can then start hiring more people and all that. So that's all good. How's Elizabethville? Okay, that's not too bad. Armenia's got a little bit of workforce available, but not quite enough. And the pot stills will not really make much of a difference. Okay, so we're getting some extra fabric from the British market, which is probably not a terrible thing for us. So I'm guessing the clothing is still pretty high in cost, so is that still about 20... Well, it's gone down a little bit in price, because we have got on a bit more textile mills. And of course, once we get the electrical capacitors, things are going to get even better. I believe, actually, how much does that reduce the workforce? So that's another 1,000 per level, if we got electricity. Plus, I suppose this one is... Well, it reduces the amount of laborers, gets slightly better paying jobs in there. But we'll of course need a lot more electricity and dyes, but that is going to be providing a lot more clothing as well. So that is going to be very useful for us. Because what we could actually do with these two is... we could actually just privatize these textile mills that we have in our capital. Do we have other places that are... Okay, so Isfahan could use a bit more railways to get some more transportation. Of course, once we get the electrical rails, that's going to be another great thing for our production. I think we might then want to get steam turbines just to be able to provide a bit more power per power plant. And we're slowly approaching the 16 standard of living average, which is actually pretty decent. How's our... Oh, it's 18 in our capital already, average. That is pretty impressive. So we're number 4 in the average standard of living. Let's actually have a look. So Scandinavia, Netherlands, and Belgium are ahead of us, but then everyone else is behind us. In terms of GDP, we are number 6 right now, which I suppose we did lose a decent bit of GDP over time. We were trying to sort of acclimate to the new... Oh, City of Plenty. Baku, okay. We'll let them celebrate. So we'll get a little bit of extra loyalists from there. It's already 600,000 people living in that state. So that's definitely growing. We don't really have a lot of labor available, mind you. So it does still have its limits. Oh, and Law stalled. Well, that's not good. Wind wells in Mazandaran. We can increase... Oh, it would increase in mortality. I think that's fine. We do need to have a lot of throughput for the oil. I do actually wonder... Are we... Oh, we got 2,000 extra. Are we selling that? A little bit. Britain and China. I mean, yeah, we got a lot of that. Could we actually export to somewhere else as well? Not particularly high productivity, so no, not really. Let's have a look at the other... Oh, right, so these are no longer needed. What about opium? No, I mean, there's some that we could sell. I suppose that would still help a little bit with the productivity and all that. And then there's very high imports, but there's nothing or nowhere that we could get some more rubber from. Clothing? We'll probably buy a little bit. It's going to take a decent bit of bureaucracy, but that will also start reducing the clothing price a little bit. Which, while it will make our textile mills a little bit less profitable, because that is something we'll start switching with the once we get our next technology, which is just 4 months away. Then we're going to start increasing the clothing production drastically, and it should be then enough to then cover basically all of it. Well, not all of it, but like a lot more of our shortfall in terms of clothing right now. Which is still about 1,600. But yeah, so that should be fine. We're still having a lot of issues with rubber. How are we doing on tools? A little bit shortage. I'm kind of thinking that maybe the tooling workshop over here should go back to the steel tools. That's going to reduce the tool production a decent chunk. But then that reduces the amount of rubber needed. So the productivity of our automobiles, for example, will be slightly better. It may not be enough, mind you, but it's still better than nothing. Yeah, they definitely need a bit more workers over here for the motor industries. To be fair, that is, well, the engine price is massive. But the automobiles give a lot more in value. Even with the high cost, the automobiles, of course, are more profitable. So there is that. Oh, and Argentina is targeted by Egypt for annexation. Alright then. So that's the one closest to Egypt over here. Oh no, it's that one, right. No, it's, okay, which one was this? Well, that's Eritrea. Oh, right, yeah, they control that state from the get-go, don't they? I forgot about that. Right, so we're currently at 950, or 948 to be precise, prestige. Which I think once we reach over 1,000 prestige, that's going to be yet another thing that will probably have, or we probably will hit that sooner or later. And then, of course, like, we might not take this playthrough all the way till the end date, because the day that I'm recording this is actually the day that the next DLC and patch are released. Or were released, rather. So I'm probably not going to be recording this series for too long. We've already met the goal for the #1 exporter or producer of both opium and oil, and now we're #2 in automobiles, so that's going to be another thing that we would like to increase, of course. But that's a bit easier said than done. Oh, looking on the... I suppose, is there any more motor industries that we could build easily that would have peasant... I suppose Hirab would have a little bit. Uzbekistan could get a little bit. But that's not exactly correct. Khorasan we could get into level 5. Let's do that one real quick. So we do actually have a bit of workforce available right now. We don't have a huge amount of... Oh, well, progress of consideration. There we go. So we actually might still pass this law, just not very quickly. We're still making a lot of money. Of course, the private sector is then bleeding quite a bit. We've got 18 million in there, so we can afford that quite easily. Could even increase the construction total, to be fair, but at this point, it's, you know, a bit of diminishing returns, really. I guess we're going to go ahead and get another one in Mazandaran, for example. That will increase some of the throughputs and all that. So we're about to hit 32 million population, but #8 globally. Actually, one thing that I haven't really had a look at on the population is what sort of cultures do we have? So Persians make about 10 million, so about 31% of the population. And then we've got Pashtun, 15%, and Azerbaijani are 8.4%. And it's almost same over here for the political strength. And Persians make about 50% for the political strength. Laborers make 40% of the nation. Machinists make already almost 14%. And clerks make 13.5%. So farmers are also fairly decent size. And shopkeepers, so... Oh, there's the electrical capacitors. There we go, this is going to be big. Now, so we've got the electric railways queued up after that, and then we'll get the steam turbine. But now let's go ahead and switch the textile, at least in our capital, to start using the power. So that changes some of the employment for people, and then this will reduce the labor need a bit further. So that should be slightly better. Now the power consumption is going to be pretty massive, but we should have a bit more people then able to work the power plant. Not actually a huge amount, mind you, but I suspect that since the profitability of this is pretty high, they're going to increase the wages a little bit further. And the throughput is hopefully increasing a little bit. Is that 5,000 laborers per... or somewhere thereabouts, I guess? No, 5,500 per... So what I could potentially do, if I wanted to increase the throughput in here, although we do get quite a bit of money from this, but we could go ahead and just privatize these. That's 200,000 per level, so that would be an extra million for us if need be. We don't really need to do that quite yet, but yes, they are indeed now hiring more people. So what else did we actually unlock with that tech? I know that those two are the primary ones that I was interested in. Oh, brine electrolysis. Okay, so explosive factory can get more effective. Let's have a look at that then. So that will require some electricity. I don't know if all of the places that we have those will... Well, you know what? I suppose what we can do is we can just go ahead and switch this. And if there are places that will not be able to do more profitable, we'll exempt those. But there's at least going to be a few places where that is fine. And let's have a look at the other places we've got tech samples. We've got level 3 over here. We don't have enough power there already. What about... I'm guessing the power... Oh, Mazandaran might be able to do some. Well, there's a little bit of shortage of workforce, but we can get these in here to improve the availability of clothing, which I'm guessing that might already be reducing the price. Oh yeah, we're down to 1,200 in the deficit of clothing, so that will already reduce the price a decent chunk. I'm sure that the production will be increasing even further. So if we now have a look at the population... How much do they still... It's less than 20% now spent on clothing, which means that they can get services a bit... or spend more on services and all that. Oh, where credit's due. Industrialists or workers. At this point, since the... You know what? We are going to still support the industrialists, because that will help us pass the private health insurance law. Because at this point, I believe we can actually benefit from that. At least a little bit in terms of the values there. Got 16 months until the electric railroad... Oh, there's a hand crank machine gun. There we go. Armor gets a bit more effective. We have lost some of the time modifiers for prestige, though, so we're now 910. Ooh, there we go. We got an extra 10% for the success chance there. And enlistment officers are spreading. Alright then. So now we're having a whole lot... Oh, and our first Iranian army is having some issues. But it doesn't have a leader, rather. Let's get the... We'll get the armed forces one over here. Oh, and that probably needs a promotion, doesn't it? Yes, indeed. Now you can at least command all of that. So there's a whole lot of construction going on. There's some oil rigs being built. I believe we are still number 1 on the... Yeah, we're number 1 in class, oil, and opium. Number 3 in lead and grain, and number 2 in automobiles. I do wonder if we can get that a little bit higher, though, automobiles, but that might be easier said than done. Colombia is improving relations. Well, I suppose that's good. But we still have a massive shortage of rubber, but I suppose if we're buying that from places, they might then be more prone to build some of their own production. Now, I suppose, well, we don't really have the fleet, but it's Marina Kingdom protected by them, but they got alliance with Gaza, which is down there. Not to be confused with the modern day Gaza. So, what about the army? We got a little bit, but not too much. So what we could actually do, for a quick little, well, I say quick little thing, what we could do, so we could increase our navy to be at least, you know, 20 or so battalion, or flotillas. Get another 2 ironclads. And then we'll get a lot of extras in here. I suppose we could also get one over there. So how many do we have already underway with that? Is well, that's currently 7. So if we get one over there, that's 8 and 9, and then we should perhaps suppose we could get one over there, but we'll get another one in Arabistan. So we'll get to 20 flotillas. So we can do a landing into Madagascar. We can conquer that, or turn that into a subject at least, and then we can. Oh wait, have they not discovered the? No, they haven't discovered that yet. Okay, so I'm guessing their militia is not particularly great. Let's have a look. In terms of quality, it's irregular still. Okay, so that's going to be pretty easy. The Great Uzbekia train robbery. We'll lose a bit of authority, but that's probably fine. So the naval bases are going to be built very, very quickly. Once the fleet is ready, we'll start preparing the war against Marina Kingdom. I think we might just go for the entire nation there. That's going to give us a source for easy rubber, and I think that's also going to be a lot of... well, there's a decent bit of population here. There's also a whole lot of things already in here, like a lot of agriculture, plantations. That's also going to give us a source for coffee. Oh. Oh, we need to go there. Also some whaling, which is a bit more meat and oil. We've got a small bit of industry, but nothing too massive. But yeah, so once the flotillas are up and running, we're getting quite a bit of money. I think it might be now time to go for a... Oh, we've got good relations with them. We're going to expel diplomats. We'll have a bit of infamy. But then if we were to go for a... Right, Conquer State, how much is that going to be infamy? 11.3, and the North Madagascar is 11.3. Okay, so we probably want to wait a little bit for the infamy to drop. We can also go ahead and start damaging relation with them. That shouldn't take too long. And that way we can do a quick little landing in there. Hopefully no one is intervening. I don't know actually if they will be. But let's say if we're not going to start this war yet. But they would not accept the demand. Gaza would join the enemy side, which doesn't really have much of an army. Marina Kingdom doesn't have a fleet. They do have a lot of conscripts, mind you. But again, if the quality is what we've seen, with the irregular infantry and all that, is nothing to worry about. But yeah, Marina Kingdom is kind of an interesting one to play. I mean, it's a little bit tricky, because you start with a massive mortality rate. And that's something to deal with. We have done a playthrough of it already on the channel, though. But it's got good resources. It's got a quite a bit of agriculture that it can do. And it's got coal and logging. It doesn't have any iron, though, which does complicate things a little bit. Bureaucratic imbroglio. I'm gonna fall losing a little bit bureaucracy, even though it does mean a lot more tax waste. I think that's gonna be mostly fine. I'm guessing there's a lot of power plants being built now. Is the capital looking... Yeah, it's looking pretty rough for power. Of course, it's mostly because they don't have a full complement of workers here, yeah? Although there's still minus 100, yeah, we'll build another one in there. That's gonna take a little bit construction costs, or incur some construction costs. We'll also go ahead and get a few more government administration. Because then we can, if we can pass the law for the healthcare, we can then increase the institution over here further. We already got the education on a fairly decent level, which is currently at 72%, which ain't too bad. But yeah, so we wanted to let the infamy drop below, I suppose, 3, more or less is the point where we want to be. And just let that go down. It's going to be taking over a year to get there, which basically means we'll probably get the electric railways and then we can start the war against Marina Kingdom. That gives the fleet also some time to hire more people to be usable. But yeah, the standard of living is already 16. That's pretty decent. Our GDP is number 6 still. So we're a bit behind North German Federation. So just 2 more million. Well, okay, 2 more million might be easier said than done. Let's actually have a look at the electricity prices again. So, Hormuz, do they have a... No, they don't have one there. Looking at places we've got power, but if we do have... Oh, we got textile in here, perfect. That's going to provide a bit more production. It's also going to then provide a bit more workers, hopefully, for the power plants. Any other good places? I suppose Uzbekia could be okay. They've got 1 power plant there, though it doesn't really put out that much stuff. We can maybe go ahead and put in the electric steam machines first. And then we can later on, once the production of that... Well, I suppose actually no, it probably would be beneficial to put in the automatic power looms. It will require even more power, but then that releases some of the workforce from there to go work at the power plant, for example. How's the... deficit right now? Tax waste 10,000 per week. It's not too bad. We'll get that fixed in no time. There's still a whole lot of things being built. Our GDP is still, well, it's again growing, not necessarily very quickly, but back to 960 in prestige. Oh, we're now number 2 producer in lead. Oh, that's pretty nice. We do have the greatest exhibition modifier that will expire at some point. But one of the reasons why I do want to conquer Marina Kingdom is, again, just to get ourselves some rubber production. I don't remember how much we can get there. Oh, all discovered in Luristan. How much can we have there? There we are. 11, okay. It's not the worst, we could probably get at least 1 in there. And how much is the difference between us and the next on the oil production? It's pretty significant. It's not quite doubled, but it's not too far off either. So that's definitely good news for us in terms of staying on top of our goals here. What about the opium then? I believe we've got a fairly good production of that as well. Although I believe we're now selling some of it, but probably not nearly enough. Hold on, where is it on the list here again? Oh, it's right there. Okay, we've got 4,000 extra here. Yeah, we are... It's about 4,000 extra that we are producing compared to the next one. You know what? We'll speed up things a little bit. The clergy will be a little bit upset with us, but I think that's fine. So Punjab, we've got good relations in there. I do wonder, if we were to make you a protectorate, you would not accept that. You do have a decent army, and you might be able to get someone joining you. Probably not, though. Oh, well, there we go. We've got bureaucracy again. Let's go ahead and increase some of the institutions here. So, law enforcement could be useful. Colonial affairs, I don't think we really need that one. Home affairs could be also quite handy. I think we're going to hold on to the points, though, right now. Because we can then later on... well, I suppose there's also the survey the isthmus, but that would be 1,000 bureaucracy. We don't have that much. How bad is the automobile situation right now? It's probably still pretty massive demand there. It is. Still needs a whole lot of engines as well, but that will be changed soon enough with the electric railways. Then, of course, the rubber production is hopefully improving. I do actually wonder, so if we take a look at the motor industries, and once we've switched to electric engines, that is going to switch more laborers to engineers. It's going to increase the electricity consumption massively, so we are going to have to increase the production of power a bit further. We are getting a little bit already in our capital, but we might also need to get some more motor industries. I suppose they are hiring, because now that they are getting a little bit of resources, but again, it's a very limited amount right now. On the other hand, at least it's $10. Oh, someone's actually overtaken us in $10 living. Who is that? Krakow. Okay, and then Scandinavia, Belgium, and Netherlands, of course. Yeah, the difference between us and Krakow is not huge. It looks like Finland's having another civil war. And France has taken Alsace-Lorraine. And Germany still hasn't formed as a Germany. Now, we will be, once this series is done, we'll be playing as Prussia. So hopefully we can do the formation of Germany by the historical date. I know that it will require us fighting Denmark fairly early on. And then we need to form Germany itself. We can form the North German Federation, mostly diplomatic. We will need to do a war against at least Austria-Hungary, I reckon. We'll need to probably build up a massive army. And there's going to be a lot more fighting in that series compared to this one. But we did a bit of fighting, but it was mostly a lot weaker enemies. Whereas on that one, there's going to be a lot of quite strong enemies, mind you. Infamy is down to 7. But I do see that we are actually out of time with this episode, so if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also got the links down below in the description. But other than that, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, bye-bye.